We looked at Nikki Haley's concession speech in New Hampshire, which sounded like a victory speech. We now are going to look at Donald Trump's victory speech in New Hampshire, which sounded like a list of grievances. Donald Trump, during his victory speech, threatened Nikki Haley with some kind of vague blackmail, suggested that the governor of New Hampshire is on drugs, and generally gave what Rachel Maddow coyly described as an unusual speech. Here is Trump, not pleased, of course, with Chris Sununu, the Republican governor of New Hampshire, because he did not endorse Trump, and Trump suggesting that he is using drugs, using uppers of some kind.
You have the now very unpopular governor of this state. This guy, he's got to be on something. I've never seen anybody with energy. He's like hopscotch. And, I'm watching this guy, and 2 weeks ago he said, we're going to win in a landslide, we're going to win. About 3 days ago he started saying, well, we want to do well. That's a big difference.
Trump now, when I hear Trump get obsessed with something, and right now it's uppers, it's the idea that people are getting energy shots, that they're on something. He said it about Biden last week. He now said it about Chris Sununu. When I see Trump fixate on accusing others of something for which there's no evidence, I start to assume Trump's actually the one doing it. And we've talked before about upper Trump and downer Trump. Not proof of anything, but Trump's fixation on others getting uppers, to me, raises questions about whether it's actually Trump who's getting them. Trump also, and this is very ugly, Trump threatens Nikki Haley. Trump says if Nikki Haley doesn't drop out, she's going to be under investigation. And I already know 5 different things about her for which she could be investigated. What is Trump talking about? He is openly threatening the lone remaining candidate against him in this primary.
Renovation. These are very dishonest people, and you're always fighting them. And just a little note to Nikki. She's not going to win. She's not going to win. But if...
And by the way, look at, as Trump issues this threat, look at Vivek Ramaswamy behind Trump. Vivek seems unable to feel shame and to realize that he is sacrificing his dignity. It almost seems, when Trump threatens Nikki here, that Vivek starts feeling just a tinge of discomfort.
She did. She would be under investigation by those people in 15 minutes. And I could tell you 5 reasons why already.
Uh-oh.
Not big reasons. A little stuff that she doesn't want to talk about. But she will be under investigation within minutes. And so would Ron have been. But he decided to get out. Now,
this is the only time I've seen Vivek Ramaswamy actually seem to acknowledge through his facial expressions that he's part of something really ugly here. Like really, genuinely, very, very ugly. MSNBC cut away from Trump's speech. Rachel Maddow absolutely hilariously describing this as an unusual speech, during which, of course, Trump also lied about his track record in New Hampshire.
Vivek, 1 minute or less. Go do it, Vivek.
What we saw tonight,
Donald Trump giving an unusual victory speech in New Hampshire, in which he initially, at the outset of his remarks, said that he had won New Hampshire both not only previous primaries but had won in previous general elections. He lost both in 2016 and in 2020 in the New Hampshire general election contests. He then reiterated that and then handed over his victory speech to Vivek Ramaswamy. After saying we don't need to talk about Tim Scott, and by the way, he got engaged, and that's more important than any of this. And then we did one. So
he seemed to suggest also that the governor of New Hampshire is on some sort of drug. He said, "I don't know what he's on."
Baseless.
The governor, which I think is utterly baseless. Just to be clear.
Yeah, that is. It's important just to clarify that. Certainly, I love the understated mention of it being an unusual speech. That is absolutely true. And then finally here is Donald Trump just furious with Nikki Haley. How dare she not get out? I mean, she has no path, to be totally frank. She has no path, but Trump's disdain for anybody who has the will to challenge him. And you can hear people yelling bird brain in the background about Nikki Haley.
But she ran up when it was 7. 7 to 1. 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 And, you know, we have to do what's good for our party. And she was up, and I said, wow, she's doing like a speech like she won. She didn't win, she lost. And, you know, last week we had a little bit of a problem. And if you remember, Ron was very upset because she ran up and she pretended she won Iowa. And I looked around, I said, didn't she come in third? Yeah, she came in third. And then I looked at the polls. She was talking about most winnability, who's going to win, and I had one put up. I don't know if you see it, but I have one put up. We've won almost every single poll in the last 3 months against crooked Joe Biden, almost every poll. And she doesn't win those polls. And she doesn't win those. This is not your typical victory speech, but let's not have somebody...
Anyway, so, you know, Trump is not right that he wins every poll against Biden and Nikki doesn't. There are plenty of hypothetical polls in which Trump and DeSantis and Nikki Haley were leading Joe Biden. There's polls where Joe Biden is leading all of them. So certainly an unusual victory speech filled with grievances, filled with attacks, filled with threats, and baseless allegations that other politicians are on drugs. Let's now get a sampling of some of the individuals. We're going down to the ground level. We started at the 30,000 foot. We're going down to the ground level. Some of the individuals who voted for Nikki Haley in New Hampshire, but are not voting for Trump if he is ultimately the nominee. As many of you have heard me say before, when I go to a wine shop, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm Argentinian and I still know almost nothing about wine. So if you're like me, you might be able to use some help. Our sponsor, Naked Wines, has you covered. Naked Wines is a subscription service that will connect you to the finest independent winemakers on the planet. You pay a fraction of the price you'd normally pay in stores because they cut out the retail middlemen. You get exclusive access to hundreds of top quality award-winning wines. They get delivered however often you want, perfect for any type of wine drinker. You'll get background information on the bottle. You have friends over. You can seem like you know something by telling them something about the wine. My girlfriend likes white wine. I'm more of a red guy by necessity just because I'm Argentinian, even though I know absolutely nothing. So we get like a split box that has a few bottles of each. Every bottle is a passion project from some independent winemaker. So you're literally making an independent winemaker's dream come true. You'll get your first 6 bottles for $39.99. Go to nakedwines.com/Pacman and click enter voucher at the top and type in Pacman as the code and as the password. The link is down below.